position in the board, so it will... Oh, got it. And we can be up to 7 members in the board, so it's quite useful to have a lot of people to help, because we are doing some stuff. We will speak about everything we are doing during the year, and especially the Congress, where it takes quite a lot of time to all of us to prepare our Enca session. So I'll just give you some few stuff about what we are doing. So that's the Enca objectives. That's the same from 2002 when it was founded. So it's gathering information from doctors, researchers, and health professionals, and passing this to the member organizations. Highlights the importance of empowering and engaging with children, young people, and their families. We had a really nice talk yesterday in the morning about this topic. One is coming also about empowerment in research this afternoon. And supporting associations to develop and grow. And it makes sense because we discussed with some medical doctor, and there is no patient organization in their countries. So it's very nice if we can help to develop such organizations. A short photo of the board. So I have to move this window. Okay, and if I put this one. Okay, so that's, as I said, the actual member of the board. So Saskia is leaving, and we thank her again for all the work done. She was in the auto-inflammatory part. We have a lot of patient organization dealing with GIA, mainly, I will say, in our network. It's nice to have also other organizations. We have some about lupus, but we can also have other organizations about dermatomyositis or other diseases and auto-inflammatory. And it's quite interesting to have all this variety of disease with different kind of living conditions for everyday life. So it will be interesting to have some other organizations of this kind to join. What happened this year that was very important is the re-engagement in the network. Richard did a great job about it. We sent a mail to any organizations to give some information to reapply, in fact, to the network, because we had some organization not responding, not participating for 2 years, 3 years, and even more. So that's good to have to know which members are in the network. We try to have 4 meetings per year, mostly online, and 1 in person at press. Next year we will organize it maybe a little differently, but it was already good. 2 important times, it's the World Day and Press Congress. And we have a new website and new communication channels. Our website is no more enca.org. It's now encanetwork.org. And it's where you will find the information about Enca and our activities. Up to now, today, we have 23 members. We had 22 just 2 days ago, and 1 joining again. We have one important thing at the beginning. Enca was a European network for children with otitis and auto-inflammatory disease. And now we have members outside Europe. We have members in South Africa, in Australia, and it's coming more general. So it's more a global network. And it's also very interesting for everything we can learn from other countries. And we are trying to get some new members with the different countries where there is no patient organization at the moment, or there is patient organization that are not participating to the network. So it's a constant evolution, but yeah, we hope to be more next year, maybe 30, 35, and to have maybe some also more organization about lupus, about autoinflammatory disease participating. So that's a kind of everything we were participating this year. We're participating in some activities project with other organizations, and that's quite important. Jeanne, you want to talk now about Smart GA? Because we are participating with CARA, that is an American organization. So
Hi. I'm involved with the Smart GIA project together with Christoph. It's a project, I have to read it a little bit because it's so new. It's sequential medications after TNF failure in GIA. So some of us know that children have the first biologic drugs used to treat children. Unfortunately, at least 25% of children do not get better after taking the first TNF. There is no data to help decide what to try next. So it's a trial and error thing. So doctors and family use that, which often takes longer to control the disease. The Smart GIA study looks to get the data to direct treatment decisions in children with GIA who do not get better after taking the first TNF. At the end of the study team will learn what other of drugs works best for each child. This is a project together with Cara, the first project ever, I think, with Cara and Press. It joined 70 pediatric oh, that's a difficult word in English, rheumatology centers from all over the world will be part of the study. The proposed study is groundbreaking in its novel design. So that's the plan, what we are going to enroll. And I think it's about 5 years, the study that it's just in the begin phase now. So, well, I'm really glad to be a part of it.
What's interesting, it was funded by the American fund, Picori. It's a 22 million euro project. So you see the importance of this study. And I guess we will come back to you to have some, because it will be international, and in Europe there will be several centers, and we will come back to the patient organizations for communicating on this project on every country. We are already speaking about the language barrier. It might be also useful for translations and for disseminating some material about this study.
Yes.
Saskia is not here, but we are part of the Autoinflammatory Alliance, so that's something that we have to continue in the future. We have the participation of South American patient organization in the World Day, so that's quite interesting. Also, you already see that we are becoming more global, and that's very a good advantage for Enca and all the members. We have another project led by Leuven University and the hospital in Belgium. It's a collaborative project also with Canadian and Israel, other countries in Europe. It's called PEF project. It's paving the way for giving awareness about GIA, and it's in relation with socio-economic impacts of the disease. So it will look at the hidden costs of the disease for the families, and in the work package we are involved, we are looking at health inequities, and there is 13 European countries participating, and we will contact all the patient organizations from these different countries. So we have a questionnaire that will be filled by patients about how they feel the access to the health system in their country. Do we have a problem? I know that we have more or less the hospital as the basis, but after you have everything that is across, and access to physiotherapists, for example, might be very difficult in some countries, access to psychologists. We have also some countries where you have some difficulty to have access to some drugs, some biologics that are not reimbursed. You have only the biosimilar version. All these things will give, also it might be the language for migrant people coming to a country. There will be a lot of question about this access to a health system, and it will be done in collaboration with anthropologists. So it's really a social science study, and we'll see also if there is some importance of the culture in the way people are accessing health care. And Cassie and Friends is a Canadian organization, so we are collaborating with them, and Inbar is an Israeli one, and they are a member of Enca. We are also participating to ERN RITA, that is the European Reference Network on autoimmune, autoinflammatory conditions. There is a pediatric rheumatologic arm. And the good thing is we are participating to a lot of stuff like designing patient journey. And it's also open up us to some other organization, IPOP, FMF for the Mediterranean fevers, vasculitis. So we have access also to other kind of patient organizations and to learn from them. For example, IPOP is very well structured. They have an office in Portugal. They have access to a member of Parliament of Europe to make some lobbying about rare for screening or some other things. So we learn also what they are doing, and it's also good advice for us to be in this network. There was in the past, it just stopped a rare autoinflammatory council from Novartis. It was more about autoinflammatory disease. And we are also in PARE. PARE is the patient organization of ELAR. Maybe up. I will put your slides. Up.
Okay. 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 In 2023, everybody knows EULAR, I think, everybody here in the room. In 2023, we searched again contacts with PARE, special, because it's good to have access to PARE. They can offer so much more other things as what press can do. We have a really good relationship with press and we want to keep it like that. But the world is bigger as only press. EULAR is, you know it from the Congress, but it has 4 work groups. You have EULAR PARE, and EULAR PARE is a network of national organizations for people with arthritis. And well, it's a little bit more going global too. You have the health professionals, there are the young rheumatologists, and you have the pediatrics. Why is it important for us to cooperate more with PARE? Children grow up to young adults, to adults, and to cooperate with PARE and young PARE, you continue the care and the needs that the children need when they grow up. GAA doesn't stop at 18. Joining forces is also, it strengthens your own organization, your own network, but also for PARE. The more you have in the house, the better it is. For PARE, hey, I get the same ones. Okay, no. PARE, you have PARE, and since I think 9 years, also young PARE. We here in the Netherlands, we have UFRL, and we have all these different other organizations, but this is all combined together, and it's really good because a child that grows up, it can go on and on. Working together with PARE is giving a voice to everybody with arthritis, young and old. We work together with them since 2022. And what we have done together now is we have been part in a webinar. We have, because they give a lot of webinars, it's really interesting. At the last EULAR meeting, Rebecca was one of the speakers, telling from her own experience, but also like that, more. And for me, it is, I'm part of the PARE committee group. Can't tell you a lot about it. I'm just in it, so I don't know yet what I'm going to do there. But it's just good to strengthen yourself, make it more worldwide, and go for it. Okay, this is... okay, that's it.
Thank you very much. Yeah, so that's what we are doing and you know about the press congress and other things. One of the most important things also during the year for us is a World Day, and that's something that we have also maybe to push a little, to maybe to anticipate. I know that, for example, in France, people are always in the rush to say, oh, we have to do something for World Day. So maybe this year we can do more. Richard, that is participating, will present. We have a video and I have the slides if you want. You know where it is? Yeah, yeah. And get it. And that's, I guess we have to share the screen.
No.
Yeah, you get it.
Nobody needs to see that. Sorry, bear with us. Okay.
The biggest international campaign.
Raise awareness that children and young people get rheumatic diseases
Takes place on the 18th of March every year.
and has been running since 2019. Raising awareness that children get rheumatic diseases such as arthritis, lupus, and autoinflammatory conditions, and many more, is the biggest single thing we can do to make a difference to the lives of thousands of young people all over the world. Increased awareness leads to earlier diagnosis, prompt treatment, and better outcomes.
Increased awareness changes lives. One day is now huge and is getting bigger each year.
Patients, parents, charities, doctors, nurses, health professionals,
And many more from all over the world.
have gotten behind the campaign to spread awareness across the globe.
Over the years, there's been so many exciting events.
United Kingdom, South Africa,
Ireland,
Uruguay, Algeria,
Australia, Tunisia,
Ecuador,
Belgium, Spain,
Chile,
Portugal,
Nicaragua,
Mexico,
Sweden,
Canada,
Israel,
and many more. Join us and help raise awareness that children and young people get rheumatic diseases too. What will you be doing next year?
Qu'est-ce que tu feras l'année prochaine?
Going to look at next year?
What will you be doing next year?
¿Qué vas a hacer el año que viene? Where will you be?
Où est-ce que tu seras?
Are we going to?
Where will you be?
¿Dónde estarás? Where will you be? How will you help? Are you going to help?
Qu'est-ce que tu feras pour aider? How will you help?
¿Cómo ayudarás?
So Word Day is the biggest day in the global calendar to raise awareness that children and young people get rheumatic diseases such as JA, lupus, and all the other conditions that we've listed and that we know about and care about. And as patient organizations and as patients, and whether you're a clinician or a health professional, whatever your background is, you can do something to help raise awareness on Word Day. So Word Day is 18th of March each year. We know that some organizations do really big things. You saw there a tiny little picture of a huge hospital building. It's like 8 stories high, where they've got a graffiti artist in to paint a picture and a mural in Greece, which is a huge project. Other people just share a few things on social media, and that's absolutely fine. Whatever you can do as your patient organization or as a patient or as a parent to help raise awareness will make a difference, because increased awareness changes lives. And the Word Day website has a number of resources. Our own patient organization, Juvenile Arthritis Research, so jarproject.org, has loads of resources. You can go on there. So it's jarproject.org/word. There's resources you can use, images you can share. If you want some ideas, then you can come and talk to us. But anything that you can do can help raise awareness. So we send, in our organization, packs out to children who can take them into schools, which means that one child that contacts us then put something into at least 30 different families who have never heard of juvenile arthritis or rheumatic disease in children, then get to hear about it, which makes a difference. And then they can tell someone, and then they can tell someone. And the idea is that if we keep telling the same people that children get arthritis or lupus or other rheumatic conditions, we're not telling anyone new. What we want to do is throw things on the floor. Now, what we want to do is to raise awareness, to tell people who don't yet know. And the way we can do that is by working together and spreading that word and linking up to other people. So whatever you can do to help raise awareness on Word Day, please do.
So now it's time for discussions. we have two more information, but no, yeah, we will say at the end. It was in the agenda. We will have our next member meeting online Tuesday, November 7th. So that will be resent to all the people. So that's quite important. We try to meet 3 times during the year, so it's quite important to have this thing. It might be the opportunity to discuss about next World Day, about the initiative you plan, and to see maybe we can have some joint initiative between countries. I don't know. There is still a lot to do. At the moment, for example, we do in France. I'm from the French organization Courir, and we have a marchathon. So it's a challenge between patient organization about walking, and you have an application, and it makes the addition of all the works made by all the people, and we have this competition. It's with a company, and you have prizes for the 3 first patient organizations. First prize is €3,000. It's always good for patient organizations to have it. After it's 1,500. But it's also the challenge. You make community. We have 120 teams of 5 people in this contest. So it helps also to make your community stronger and having some common goals on your disease awareness. What we would like to hear from you, it's this year we have several sessions for the Congress, and we will be interested to know what you want next year. So I don't know if you maybe we have to say that we had already an idea. We want to dedicate 1 hour session to a young adult, organized and driven by young adults. So that will be a challenge. We will create a young adult group during the year. And there will be 1 session about young adults. They have to choose the topic. But it's something that, yeah, we say we have also to give them a voice in this Congress. So that will be one of our proposal for next year. And after, we are listening to you. And the thing is, if you can speak in the microphone, because otherwise people online don't hear.
Hello, everybody. On the subject of young adults, I would say it would be nice to hear about the beginning of sexual life for the teenagers and what to be aware of and need to take care of.
That will be a great topic. We will challenge the medical doctor with it. No, but even for parents, it's a question. Yeah, it's a really good topic.
Can I say something?
Yes.
I think it was 2017. We actually had a couple of patients talking about sex life, and I think that was a really well visited session. So to do it again, I think it's going to be a really great idea. I can't hear you.
Sorry, I'm just adding that from multiple perspectives, the physicians, the parents, the children.
Yes. And I think we had a rule that the young people who was talking didn't have to have their parents in the room if they didn't want to. So I think that's make it like a secure environment to talk about it.
Hi, oh, I'm short, sorry. Hi, yeah, I was at that session. It was a really good session and the mum did leave, which was probably for the best. But it was a great session. But I also think what would also be interesting, because my own daughter has gone through this recently, would be starting into a career and starting into the world of work and sort of that transition from being a young person in education, which is hard enough, living with a rheumatic disease, but trying to navigate the workplace as a young adult with a rheumatic disease. I think that would be quite interesting as well, because there's a lot of challenges associated by that.
We are actually starting a project in Sweden. If may I speak about that like for 1 minute? In Sweden, we are a bit different than most countries. We have 2 organizations, and the young adults or the young rheumatics is only for the children, and it's up to 30 years old, and they do all the activities for the children mostly. And the parents, we are landed in the big organization with the old people from 13 and forwards who actually has the rheumatic disease. And we started a project to actually be the bridge between the organizations for, they call it the middle of life, and to be just sex life, career, everything you just talked about. And we hopefully is going to get this on the road all over the Sweden this year. And so maybe we can contribute with something, I don't know, but it would be really, really nice to have something to show or something to share with you, or actually get some information and some tips from you as well, how to do that kind of work.
I was just thinking about, so here now we are, you know, all parents and, you know, professionals, but maybe as country organizations, we should start with asking our members, our kids, what do you want to organize? You know, what do you want? Because I know perfectly well what I want my daughter to learn and accept and everything, but she has her own ideas. So I think maybe it would be wise if every organization in each country, you know, where there is an organization, maybe in a fun way, ask their kids, not by a questionnaire, because questionnaires, you know, suck. But, you know, we see it when we upload on social media and we use a meme on Instagram, and we use Instagram only to target our young adults and teens. Facebook is for old people like me, but Instagram, we have, you know, statements and things, but in the language of our kids with a funny joke or anything. And maybe in that way, try to gather information about, and maybe not even ask, what do you want? Because that's already hard to think about, but maybe give a statement, do you agree or not, or something that they, with a click of a button, they can agree on or not. So that would be my suggestion before we already come up with what we think our kids should learn or the doctors should learn. Maybe we should ask the kids first.
Yeah, we should ask the kids. It's quite a good idea. After, we are also here for advocacy. We are also, it's also the meeting of patient organizations. So we have also some stuff that's related no more to the patient, but how we give the information. 1 year there was session about social medias, you know, and how an organization can use social media. It was Simon doing the talk to disseminate information, you know. That's also quite interesting, because you say, I'm using Instagram for the kids, Facebook for the parents, for the medical doctor, it's better to use Twitter. So there is also a topic like this that can be useful for the organizations to have some ideas and to maybe some new way of communicating. So it will be both. It can be something interesting, really the patients, and some stuff also interesting how we run and we disseminate the information in our country and this kind of thing. Rebecca.
Yeah, I was going to build on something very similar to what you're saying. We're very proud of the fact in the UK, our teeny tiny charity has really engaged out of the others that have anything to do with JAA. We have the most engaged social media networks. I'm really proud of what we do on social media, but it's interesting to hear how you differentiate and do something separate on Instagram. We don't have time to do the separate thing. So I was going to say, if you don't mind, if anybody does do anything specific, if you can share what you create, because we've used social media as a way for certain projects that we've been involved in to get that kind of quick feedback where people won't fill in a questionnaire, but we just want to ask a question, and it's worked really well. But from us, we're all volunteers in our charity, and it takes so much time. People don't realise, they think, oh, social media is easy because their own social media they can do quickly, but it takes so much time. So this project that we agreed to do, we didn't realise how many hours is involved in it. But so if people do make anything on any topics like that, if you're happy to share that we can just translate and use, that would be amazing. And if we come up with any ideas, obviously we're happy to share as well. So yeah, thank you.
Trying to disseminate through the network and to have the good practice from other ones, that's quite important. Good resources. We launched last year, I don't know if it was the moment, it was not a big success. We had last year a session about information materials that was CP and Yona who were participating and sharing the session. And we wanted also to have maybe the material from the different organizations, because after, when you know that another organization is making a booklet for this kind of thing, maybe sometimes it's just a translation to make, and you have another material to use. Because, for example, in my organization in France, we have material like Kipo, we have Pépin le Galopin. That's more for young kids, but for teenagers, we miss some material.
We started about 3 years ago, I think, started making animations. 1 minute animations, and that's what we used for the young adult, my future, your or my experience, your future, using animations, because kids are on TikTok, so it should be like 1 minute tops. And we nowadays make animations for younger kids with a mascot, a little monkey, so that more relates to the young ones. And then we have teenage cartoons, and we make specific cartoons for the young adults. But because that's quite expensive, yeah, we do like one a year, and then we pick a topic, and depending on what's most important to know. But short-term animations is a good way. We see that in our views, and we see doctors now sharing it, because it's an easy way to explain, also to when you're really young. The problem we see now that with, Instagram is kind of already old-fashioned nowadays. I see with my own daughter, she gets a lot of information from TikTok. She follows several people with all kinds of diseases on TikTok. And that's how she gets tips and information. The problem is that, we as an organization, we shouldn't be on TikTok because we're old, so they don't want to see us. But getting young adults or teenagers on TikTok, most of them, especially if you're still in the angry, accepting phase, you don't want to share it. You don't want to. And that's for us as an organization, we find it hard to, okay, how do you find because at the moment we don't find it. So for our channel, do you want to, it's still hard. We now know that there are a few young adults by themselves share their stories on TikTok and ask doctors, can I just make a little short movie? And that really helps. So I think that's also, really think about how young kids process information. And indeed, we used a booklet, I think from the UK, about school and GA, and we thought, oh, this is brilliant. And we had to adjust it to our system, but we didn't have to invent the wheel all over again. We could just use your example and yeah, translate it to the Dutch system. But yeah, but it's still a booklet, and young adults don't read brochures and things like that. So that's why we now try to put it in animations, and that can really help.
Thank you. That's really interesting, and thank you for mentioning about the translations. I was just going to, Christoph said about this gap for teenagers and older children, and I was just going to say we've got a booklet, a little book written by a young adult or young man with juvenile idiopathic arthritis. It's called Peg Leg. I think all our copies have gone, but it's available on our website, and it's really well written. And he wrote this book, and he said, "Oh, I'd like to share it with you." And we said, "Oh, yeah, of course." We had no idea what the book was about. We had no idea what was in it. And it's actually brilliantly written. It's got illustrations by a friend of the family as well. It's really, really good, very, very powerful. And we are happy for that to be used by any patient organizations, along with all of our other resources. If there's anything that we've got, it's all on our website. If there's anything that we've got you think that would be useful, please get in touch, and we can put a license in place so that you can then translate it by language, and also for your systems. Like the school systems are different and the healthcare systems are slightly different. So whatever's useful that we've got, we're happy for other people to use. Just get in touch. And so good. And likewise, if one of the big benefits of Enca as a network is that we can share resources and tips and skills. So we don't have our own animation, but some colleagues in South Africa from Arthritis Kids South Africa developed a fantastic animation and very kindly let us adapt it for a UK audience. So there are tools and tips and things that we can use and share, and it's fantastic as a network to do that.
I was just going to say, I know in the past we've talked about making a list of all the resources, but being here and seeing like different resources on the Enca stand and everything, because I do speak different languages, but not many. So I struggle to understand what the different things are about. And I wonder if it's worth either having a session when we're all together like this, or a webinar where each organisation can actually go through what each of their resources are. So you can say, this is our booklet about, and say this one's for schools, or this one's for, you know, whoever it's for, to actually explain it a bit, because then you understand what's actually available, rather than just having to look at a list and not fully understand it. I don't know if that's helpful or not. I don't know.
Yeah, that could be the main point of our next online meeting in November, about presenting the resource of the different organizations and trying to see what can be used in other organizations, what kind of maybe a communication plan we we have in our organization, even if sometimes it's not well structure. And but it will be nice, yeah, because we have the meeting in November, so that can be our first steps, because after this material we can also use for the World Day. It will be also maybe opportunities, you know, like this. So that's quite interesting. And but we see that there is something to do about it, and to speak and to have some session, maybe and maybe to present some results in the next Congress. We will have certainly have a booth like this time. So it will be also the possibility to show printed materials. We'll try to have a video. It's quite expensive to have a screen here, but next year we can have a screen if we have some videos to show, some TikTok from influencers. What kind of influencers? There is a lot of topics that we can discuss, in fact, about it. So we will await your feedback from your kids and members for having some other ideas about the press congress. One information, we have free tickets every year for the press congress for patient organizations. We will see how it will be next year for the organization of having these free tickets. It's not going through the portal of press. The last 2 years, Richard was setting a Google form and sending the information to the office in charge of the registration. So it's for free. We don't pay, to be completely honest, we have a budget of 10,000 euros for the Enca network given by the press. And most of more than 70%, is dedicated to pay for speakers to join the press congress. So, and the rest is for the website and some other stuff, like we have a new roll-up, we have some business card and all these things. So we have not the money for the moment to pay for accommodation and traveling costs for the patients joining the events.
Just an idea, it's just come in my head. Because I've obviously been involved for years and seen it when there was a whole room packed with patient representatives. Do you think if there was a small project where we got all the different patient organizations who can't afford, because they're small, like my one, they're small and they can't afford to be here always in the room, to maybe write and to collect a group of letters or emails or whatever of testimonies of what it would mean to be in the room, to all network and work together, and to hopefully help with the little push for prayers to maybe increase the budget, to listen to the patients and to listen to the parents about why they want to be here, and that might tip them over the edge into increasing the budget with a few prayers as well. What do you...
No, yeah, it's a good idea for small organizations. For big one, we encourage organizations to at least send one people to the Congress. That's quite nice. We will try to get people as speakers and to get all the speakers next year paid by press. We will try to find, you know, some tricks to get it. But this question of money is, very important. If we have, for example, 5,000 euros more, maybe we have to go to the pharma company and ask, okay, may you give 5,000 euros to pay for flight ticket of 200 euros and accommodation 200 euros for 2 nights or something like this. It may help. So, but if you have ideas, connections, just said to us, come to us, and we can discuss about what we can do to help for it, or maybe for the small organization. I know the medical doctor may help also in the country, the local national organization. So it's something really to see how we can improve the number of people joining. And I guess with, maybe through Rita, I have to ask Nico also if maybe there is some budget. We will try all the different stuff, but because it's nice to have people joining the Congress and patients. And this year, Dutch patients have some opportunities to join the Congress also. It was an initiative of Sylvia Campus, was the local organizer, and they got free access to the Congress. There was something like 50, 60 people registered. So that's quite a lot of patients also joining the Congress. It's a good initiative. We had the approval to renew this next year for the patient from the organizing country. So it will also help to have more patients participating to our sessions and to the press congress in general. So that's something also we discussed, and little by little we got more, but we want more now. So that was for the press congress, and after in the agenda we have something about what you expect, what you want from Enca also in general from the network. We will try to have some webinars next year because it's also something that the working parties, the education committee wants to, and it's also something that we have to discuss. There is the language problem. In the Netherlands, maybe it's a little different. English native speaker is also a little different. But in France, in Spain, in Italy, in Portugal is quite speaking good English anyway, but we have the problem that patients will not attend this webinar. It will be only for a few people, and if you make a lot of effort to invite 2, 3 people and you have 5 people attending, you have more people in the organizations and the attendance, you don't want to make the next one. So if you have, so we are discussing about getting some solution for automatic translations during the webinar. are doing subtitle translations after the webinar, and because to have them available on replay, and to have a translation after, because it might be more easier to get it after. I don't know. Yeah, Karen?
Maybe you can use AI as a translation during the webinar.
Yeah, you have solution based on AI. The thing is, they are not all working well.
But it's better than nothing.
Yeah, no, it's always better than nothing. After, the thing is, if you are providing information about health, and it depends about the topics, but depending on the kind of information, sometimes if you go back home with bad information or something you misunderstood, and nobody is explaining what you don't understand or misunderstand. I know, for example, last year we have a big family event every year, and my daughter, she misunderstood something during a session, and that's what she was very worried about. And it was just a misunderstanding, you know. But so we have to be sure also that we don't, if about some stuff that are easy, we can. But for some stuff, I prefer that we take care about the information we deliver to other people. It's okay. It's just my point of view, but yeah, if we, for example, make a webinar about basics about, I don't know, lupus information for parents, we have to be sure that parents understand really what is said during this this webinar. But that's why we are trying to have solutions. There is one Zoom solution used by auto-inflammatory people, but it's expensive.
And I would second that. I'm a scientific tech writer, so I come across a lot of, oh, I just used AI to translate it, and I check everything and I'm like, oh, this is totally not what, you know, the intention was. So AI is improving by the day because it actually learns with, you know, the stuff we're feeding it with. But there are still, I see it daily with my work, a lot of crucial mistakes that, you know, you don't want in your translation. So yeah, we have to be careful, I think, for the moment still with AI, using it directly as the ideal tool. Because yeah, one tiny mistake can have huge influences indeed. So yeah.
I didn't know that was so bad, actually.
Yeah, one thing also I discussed with Jordan Anton about he was in charge of the education committee, is doing the webinar. One thing for patient, maybe having a webinar of 1 hour, we can have a presentation of half an hour, questions, and question may be sent in advance. So even some people from other countries can also have some written question, and the answer can be prepared to be translated also, you know. So we may have we have to think about, to brainstorm about solutions. And there is maybe a lot of stuff like this that can be done to help. And we know that we have a lot of questions. So also half an hour is maybe also good to have a really big time of discussions and questions from the patients and parents. So that's something we will do. We are also looking for some topics for the webinar. If you have ideas, I don't know, it might be some basic information for parents and children. It can be how to deal with a physiotherapist for some stuff, because yeah, even with health professionals, so it's not only with medical doctors that we have some different language, but also with health professionals. Sometimes we have to explain some things, and so I don't know. It can be a lot of different things. It can be something about genetics. What is the present status? Because there is a lot of stuff that we don't understand in the Congress about genetics, basic science, and this kind of thing. And usually when I go to see a medical doctor in France and I say, oh, is there some genetic cause of GI? They say no. And yesterday I speak with medical doctors, say, yes, there is at least 3 genes that are involved. So it depends on which kind of arthritis form and something. But that can also be some topics that we can have some basic genetics about GIA, about lupus, about dermatomyositis, also other diseases. So yeah, if you have also ideas, and it can be also very good to have the feedback also from the different organizations, and yeah. They cannot hear you on.
Just going to say one idea might be to do an update on emerging research in various different rheumatic diseases in pediatrics, just to give parents and patients, you know, like positive, like a little bit of hope to just inform them about what's happening out there.
Yeah, that's always something parents are really fond of.
And maybe depending on the audience, you know, being a representative of a patient organization, I'm a different audience than, you know, if you maybe want to attract patients or parents of patients as well. And I wonder, maybe Jasper can say that better, what would they like to hear? And maybe that's more daily tips, you know, tips for just daily life, like fatigue, like we had in the morning. And unfortunately, you know, still me in the this morning thought, I'm still waiting for the magic answer that will, there isn't, but maybe things like that. And
Yeah.
we could use someone like Jasper that can host that, or, you know, talk about, you know, like you said, young adults that will host a webinar with tips and how it is for them, especially if you want to target patients and parents. I think that would be really helpful.
Yeah, for example, this year there was from Rita webinar about tattoos and autoimmune disease. Is it safe to have tattoos? So you know, we have a lot of young people who wants to have tattoos. So what is the influence? That's kind of topic of interest for people.
It was a brilliant one, because my daughter was wondering about that and didn't get a tattoo until she knew the answer from her doctor that she could get one.
And if I may add to that, I think maybe topics like energy management or how to cope with like education things. So how to choose a study which also fits your physical needs, and yeah, that kind of topics I think are also really interesting for both patients and parents because they're really relevant when you're growing up.
Yeah, I was just reminding and what Tim explained this morning about the spoon and for the quantity of energy. That's also something, yeah, you know, you can have some stuff like this, how you explain your disease to other people. And this example is very nice because it's very visual, and for people to understand is quite helpful. And I guess this kind of thing can also be part, yeah, how explaining my disease, how we, you have this discussion this morning, so Jasper, you were in, and yeah, it's difficult to explain your disease to other people. So that can be also a thing, how I explain my disease to my parents or to my friends. That can be really some stuff that makes sense.
I can have a voice impediment, so please bear with me. Coming from the parent carer perspective, young adults don't stay children. They move into adulthood and into parenting. Can we add the subject of starting a family to break the myths? Because young people having rheumatic illnesses are on medication and they worry about their tomorrow. So if we can add starting a family as a subject, and we parents won't be there.
Yeah, it's like for the sexual webinar, we will put the parents out.
That's actually a brilliant topic, because I'm also a member of a Facebook group of American parents, because we used to live in America and we got the diagnosis there. And the other week, there were 3 parents reaching out, quite desperate, saying, you know, one was starting the journey, the other was later in, and our daughters want to have kids, but are they capable? Can they do that? What will be the consequence of that? And you have other parents saying things that are yet not correct, and saying, oh, that's not possible, or you should be, oh, stop all the, you know, and I use the example of, you know, got some colleagues, and yes, it is possible, but I think that's a brilliant subject because a lot of them wonder about that.
Yeah, for kids and pregnancy, for example, it's a kind of topic we have to be sure about the information they take back, because depending on your medication, depending on your disease, the situation is not the same. So we have to take, that's a, yeah.
I agree. I think that's a really good idea, and linking to that, like mental health issues around living with a rheumatic disease. But I think what we've done, we've given the Enca board loads more work, because we've not just thought of one, have we? We have not. We need to ask the young people. We've thought of a series of webinars, haven't we? Yeah. So we've got the next few years covered.
And that's Sammy Ainsworth, who's just volunteered to run the webinars for us. And I was just going to say, Karen.
I know before there have been from Enca side or the doctor side a very interest into hearing from the children and young adults directly, because for me it's I think it's kind of weird because they actually meet the patients, but I think it's different when they hear something from a young adult or a child who's not their patient. Maybe they listen better. And I know a lot of children who say they really want the doctor to listen, to hear them, to understand, not to say like, yeah, methotrexate is good for you and it's going to be really good in this way, and the child has tried it and the doctor doesn't listen. Or maybe they want to talk about something and they say, yeah, but research say this, yeah, but it's not in my case. Maybe we could have like a webinar with children or young adults who actually can challenge the doctor and say the uncomfortable things. We hear a lot of stories, and sometimes maybe we can be afraid of telling the truth because maybe all the people are going to say, no, that's not true. But I think it's to make the children have a voice, whatever the voice is.
Yeah, thank you, Karen. Speaking the uncomfortable truths, I think that's going to be a really interesting and important session, because in our patient organisation, we experience the same thing from parents and young people who are told repeatedly the same thing by their clinical team, and the clinical team are not always listening, that's not the experience of the children and young people and the family. So I think that's really, really important. I don't think we've mentioned yet that we have a date. I'm looking at Anita. We set the date for the next webinar, haven't we? 7th of November. That's the meeting. Sorry, that's the meeting, not the webinar. No, so that's going to be I'm glad that Anita's here. So we have an online meeting for the Enca member organisations. So that's for the member organisations on the 7th of November. So links will be going out. So that's where we can continue this type of discussion. And in the meantime, if you are able to speak to your patients that you link to the topics that they'd be really interested in knowing, because we've got lots of ideas here, some of which can feed into webinars, some can feed into Pres next year. Some will go on for longer than that because we've got more topics now than we can fit into in the next year or two, which is actually really good because then we can start prioritizing. So if you can have those conversations, that'd be great.
So that was our first idea. Yeah, please.
I would like to add that we had a lot of topics for young adults now, and maybe adults, but not the the young children, so we haven't forgot them. So how do we reach them? Yeah.
We have it's different because for the young kids, you're more speaking to the parents. In fact, you know, yeah, the first line of.
I think it's a point what
Yeah.
Anders made, because the parents can ask the children. And when you do something in a webinar, like here, you can't invite the children, but in a webinar like Word Day, you can do something with it.
Yeah. No, after you have also, you have different age, you know, you have the young kids diagnosed around 1 year, 2 year old until 8. And every age is different. For the young one, more or less, there is not too much memories about what is happening. And after you have changed, maybe also we can work on the different age of the patients and having some different things. I know, for example, also, you know, stuff are evolving. In France, we had a nice talk about, it was about transition and about the influence of being in which generation, you know, Y generation, X generation, because you have different way of seeing life, different habits, and what it implies for the transition to speak to different kind of generation. So there is a lot of stuff still to do. Yeah.
I think what you've said is absolutely brilliant. And I run sessions with people as young as 8 online, and they absolutely can be part of the conversation and have a voice. But we maybe need to pitch it at their level. And one of the things that I've been involved in is, and I've not run it, but we've had experts come to help run it, is like really lovely, like interactive art and creative sessions. And I'm just picturing all of our young people and all of our families of a younger age all together online, doing something together, creating maybe we do that around Word Day or something, where we show the young people, you have JA, you have JDM, you have lupus, but look, you're part of this big community around the world, and we're all coming together in this lovely session, and it's about fun. It's not about, it doesn't have to be about a specific topic. It could just be about coming together as a community.
Yeah, there was a kind of contest years ago, no, in Enca. What was the name? For kids like this, no? I don't remember exactly if it was video or drawings. I don't remember exactly, but there was something in the past for kids. But
I know what it was. It was all countries and all the children in different countries could do a video telling them. I think it was something about the good life as well. So it's not only about the sickness, it's what makes them happy or something like that. I can't remember the specific topic, and they could do it how they wanted to do it, and they sent it in. And I think it was a boy from Latvia. I don't know the English word for it. Litauen, I think it was. Lithuania, I think maybe it's called in English. Who won, and he was actually on press in Enca, and we showed this video, and all the videos was also online, I think, for viewing.
Nita and I remember that. It was a competition. You're right, Karen. It was a competition and the winner and everything. But what I was suggesting was more an interactive session that everybody joined rather than a competition. But we could do both, obviously.
Maybe it doesn't have to be a maybe it doesn't have to be a competition. It's like you can have a gallery, like an open gallery all year around, to actually have videos and arts and everything, music, dance performance, whatever you want. And maybe it could be like it's not a project, it's like ongoing forever. I don't know.
Yes, that's the ideas for Word Day and for the next press Congress to have such stuff going on. That can also be discussed in the next meeting to see a little what we really want to do with this idea, because we have a lot of ideas and we will have to pick. Yeah, Anita.
a lot of great ideas. I really love it. But the Enca board is only with a few people, so we need help. So I'm looking around so that nobody's going to hide. We're going to ask you for help, okay? Don't say no, we kick you out.
Yeah, that's a work for the community. And yeah, so what you also expect from Enca? We have all this. Is there all the other things you want to have or to propose? Yeah, you can come back after. We gave our ideas about what we already thought in our discussions, but yeah, there is a very there is a lot to do anyway. So we all have a full bunch of ideas for everything, but we can have some stuff with a medical doctor, with a health professional. Next year, we will have still a session. We have the session about mental health tomorrow with the health professional. That's quite interesting to share with them. We will try also next year maybe to have a common session with Emerge. That's the young physicians under 40. That's not the same thing as our young adults, but that can be interesting also because they may have a different way of looking at the patient and looking at their practice. So that's stuff that we want to do, but there is a lot of things to do to propose. So we are really open to all ideas. So Saskia is here. She arrived. So she was our representative for the auto-inflammatory part. There is also a lot to do for this kind of patients. And so, yeah, we are ready for any ideas. So if you don't have it here, just email us. We will send a reminder with the program maybe for the next meeting in November about everything we talk about and maybe the ideas. And maybe we will ask the people to say if they are interested to participate to a working group on one topic to help on World Day, on this initiative for kids, for the young adults. So we will have a lot of stuff to do. So I don't know, any other? Yeah.
Yeah. We wrote the agenda for this just the other day. And we forgot to include any other business. So here's any other business. This year, EULAR have produced some new resources for World Arthritis Day, which is the 12th of October. And I'm very proud to say that my daughter is in that booklet. So we will send round to everyone whose email address we've got a link to the EULAR World Arthritis Day webpage, which has got a link to a brochure that they produced, which has got stories about people with arthritis. So our daughter is the pediatric representative, but there's also stories from adults and from PARE and from others as well. So patient stories that are in there, and they are in the process of doing some more work, making videos and all sorts of things. So as soon as that's available, we will share that with you as well, because as Anita said, we're linked to EULAR, we support the work they're doing, they're supporting us. And anything that we can do to help raise awareness that children, young people get arthritis, as well as older people who get arthritis and other rheumatic diseases, is really important. So we'll share that with you so you can share it onto your networks. Anita's also mentioned that we do need help. So these are all fantastic ideas. Karen, just because you're on screen doesn't mean you can hide very well. Sorry, you're big in the screen here. You're about eight feet tall here behind me. So we see you. So anyone who is able to help with any of the ideas you've come up with, or you think there's someone else that's come up with an idea or said something that you want to be part of, please message the board. We'd be very happy for you to be involved. And Michael, you have your hand up.
Sorry, just needed to unmute. Sorry, I just have a quick question. We talked about the sharing of resources like videos and presentations, etc. Would it be possible to create like a protected online space within the Enca website where these things can be shared, maybe, and maybe also curated stuff that has been looked at, that can be used by the member organizations, and maybe even translate them and then upload them again to see if we can make them available in different languages?
So our long-term plan is to make sure we've got somewhere where all patient organization resources can be linked from the website. So all of, for example, ours are in English and they're available on our website, so we can link to them, but we know they've already been translated into other languages all over the world. So we eventually hope to have all the different languages linked there. And we can create secure Google Drives and so on, so people can share resources through us to other patient organizations without them going publicly. So when you're updating things and changing translations and asking for help, there'll be a safe place for doing that. Yes, that's the plan.
That'd be great. Thank you.
All right, no problem. And before I'm going to hand back to Christoph in a moment, so he can say whatever else he wishes to say. But before everyone goes, it'd be very helpful if you can just come and see me, so we've got a record of everyone who's here, and your contact details in case we haven't got them, just so we can send out information following today. Thank you, Christoph.
I don't know if there is any other person who wants to say something, or any questions, or no. So we thank you all. It's nice. Next year we will try to have a kickoff of Enca members, different than the roundtable, because it was a little unclear what it is. So we make a kickoff members of Enca. Kickoff meeting of Enca members. We will try to have it maybe on the other day. We will try to have all the sessions on 1 or 2 days, a little like this, to be more efficient for people to join. If you want also only to come to the Enca sessions, it will be easier maybe to have some other organizations joining. So it's we will try to improve as usual. Give your feedback and comments, and we thank you all for joining and for all the efforts you do for the patients and the parents all over the world. Thank you very much.
Last word. It's for Saskia. You're going to hate me. I want to thank you for all your years in Enca. Thank you. For them who doesn't know, Saskia is stepping back.
So goodbye to the person online. So Michael, we stay in contact for Rita.
Yes. Sorry, I had to join a bit late because I had some technical trouble, but I managed to see most of it.
No problem. We expect to have you next year in person, and Karin also.
Yes. Where is the next conference?
Denmark or something like this.
Then I might come.
We have to have everyone.
It's nearby, so
yeah, it will be good to have. We'll try. We need to have 30% in the room at least.
Yeah, I think
so
it'd be much
representatives.
For sure.
So thank you, and have a good lunch.
Thank you.
Thank you, Christoph.